All right, welcome back to another episode of STL Real Estate Roundtable. Today I'm joined by Sam Vandenbrink with the Modern Day Agent team. And I'm so glad to just learn a little bit more about your story and kind of what led you to a career in real estate where you're at today. So thanks for joining me.
Jaden, thanks for having me on, bro.
Yeah, man, this is going to be fun. I think first question is, who's your barber? Where do you get that sick fade? All right. Give your barber a shout out right now.
Joe Krabby.
All
the
right.
Krabby barber. He is the best.
Shout out. Shout out Joe Krabby.
Shout out
right.
Joe Krabby.
Looking fresh, dude. All right, cool. So obviously you've got this massive real estate business that we're all looking forward to learning more about. So kind of tell us a little bit about, where you grew up, kind of your life story in 90 seconds, and kind of what led you to a career in real estate.
Well, I'm humbled to hear it's massive. I don't think about it that way.
Yeah. Right.
I just love to get to help people buy and sell real estate, man.
Yeah.
Bringing the highest level of value is just so important, and focusing on their goals and helping them in every way we can. But a little bit about me. Started selling real estate about 5 years ago. Went to school in San Antonio, Texas, St. Mary's University. Actually dropped out of there to sell real estate. So I did not graduate, but I came from St. Louis. So I am a St. Louis native, and went to St. Mary's High School, then went to St. Mary's University, dropped out of St. Mary's University, got my real estate license over in San Antonio, Texas, and then felt called to come back to St. Louis. And so after I came back to St. Louis, I had to retake the courses and
all over again.
Yeah,
and you use everything from those courses, right?
Oh, everything. Everything. It was the best 75 hours of my life ever spent,
Right.
Yeah. And so, a little bit about my life story. I met my wife, Lane, right when I moved back to St. Louis. She actually moved to St. Louis the same month that I moved back. And so, it's just a kind of just a God thing.
Yeah.
Really, at the end of the day. And she's my rock, man. She's great. We got a little boy named Axel David. He's growing up so fast. It's crazy to see. I know you got a
We're at similar stages.
Yeah, we really are.
Similar stages. Yep.
We are.
What's he doing now that's new? Because I feel like every day there's something new, right?
Just rolls from one side of the room to the other and then back again. Just laughs at everything, smiles. It's just a fun rodeo, really.
That's awesome. Cool. So you moved back to St. Louis. You retake the exam. Then what?
So I moved back to St. Louis, retook the exam, and my mentor, Emily Booker with Garcia Properties, she's kind of who held my hand through my first 16 transactions. And I really feel like that's so important, and most agents don't realize that. You can't just walk into this industry without having an excellent mentor, without somebody who really knows what they're doing, has been doing it for a long time, and is really focused on providing the same amount of value that you want to be able to provide. And so she held my hand through my first 16 deals, and I can't thank her enough for that. And after that, I kind of wanted to own my own business, right? And Garcia Properties, excellent company. They're great to work with, a whole bunch of awesome agents, but I think they're more focused around Garcia, and I wanted to kind of have my own company. And so I went to Keller Williams and started my team over there, actually, which is just a small team, a few agents, preferred lender. My brother's, a mortgage lender with Del Mar, and so he shout out Benjamin Vandenbrink, great mortgage lender.
There we go.
And after that, we moved over to Worth Clark. That's kind of an umbrella, right? Provides our errors and emissions insurance. The broker over there, Holly, is excellent as well. But they kind of let us run our team the way that we want to, and it's great. But my partner Elvis, that I started the Modern Day Agent team with, does a whole bunch on the new construction side. I do a whole bunch of just working with home buyers and sellers, and being able to bring them the most value that I can. Just treating every client like they're the only client you're working with.
Awesome. So 2-person team now, right?
Four. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got 2 other agents, then me and Elvis. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. So what's it been like growing your team, and kind of talk through any ahas or any challenges with kind of getting to that point?
So I would say really focusing on your vision for how you want the team to look. And that's something that I have to sit back on and kind of look down at it and say, hey, I don't necessarily want to have a whole bunch of buyers agents and a whole bunch of sellers agents. I kind of want to have agents that can kind of run their own businesses underneath our brokerage, kind of representing a brand, and ultimately being able to bring each other value as a team, right?
Yeah.
Being able to brainstorm together, being able to come up with a vision for how we want the next 12 months to look in our businesses, and being able to pass, back and forth, properties together and roll off each other that way. It's been super great. I mean, the amount of deals I've done with Elvis to where we were able to bring each client in the transaction a whole bunch of value and sell their house off market because we were able to connect the dots there and sell their home. The deals are endless.
Yeah.
From that.
Yeah. So how do you build your own team, the modern day agent team? So what is the vision for your team, for the business that you want to run? Kind of what are the values?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all about core values, right? At the end of the day, service, integrity, faith. Say those are like my top three, right? And putting a group of folks together that stand by those core values, right?
Yeah.
That really believe in them. Because if you bring somebody on and they don't hold the same core values that you do, it's just not going to work, right? I mean, you see it over and over again in so many different countless businesses. And so with building the team where we're at now, the guys that we have, I would say really do hold by those core values. And we're able to, pick each other up, right? We're able to walk with each other throughout, just life, and it's really fun. But the vision that I had, for the business, the job side of stuff, is just a group of really solid folks that want to be able to bring each other value, right? Where we can learn from each other, where we can do a weekly meeting, where we can meet individually, where we can discuss the market, the trends, back and forth deals together, just having a community.
Yeah, I love it. Well, what's been, thinking back on your real estate career up till this point, what's been the biggest lesson learned from the day you got your license to now? A lot of experience, right? So what's the biggest lesson?
Be too stupid to give up.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. That's great. So how has business, I don't know if you've ever experienced the roller coaster of real estate, but how have you embraced those difficult times, right? Those times that things aren't looking great, or you're too busy, you feel like you can't be in two places at once. Like how do you embrace that?
So leverage, right? The being in two places at once item, right? So I've got my assistant Samantha. She's incredible. She keeps me organized. She handles all the marketing for the company. She does a whole bunch of the back end stuff, and she's so much better at it than I am, and it makes it that much better, right? And then to top that, I would say just really, time blocking, right? And staying consistent with that. And to answer your first question of, how do you weather the storms, right? How do you get through that? Because now I'm at a consistent pace, right? I mean, we're doing a lot of transactions. I'm being able to serve a ton of people. And, the first couple of years in real estate, that's not how it is, right? There is a whole lot of ups and downs. You should have a 9-to-5 for a while, or maybe, a side hustle, something of that nature, to where you're making money to pay your bills, right? Because you need to put yourself through school. You need to focus on learning, right? You need to be focused on learning no matter what, right? Anybody that I know that's really successful in real estate is constantly trying to obtain knowledge, constantly, right? And so I try to read a couple books a month still, but when I was going through that like mentory like stages, I would just focus so much on how much can I learn, right? Because you don't know much of anything when you get into the industry. You really don't at all. And thinking that taking that 75-hour class is going to be anything, right, to you learning, it's really not. Once you get into the game of real estate, which it is a game, you have to learn how to play, right? If you don't focus on learning how to play after you get your license, you're not going to be around for very long.
Yeah, and you learn by doing. Right. Learn by doing, right? And so you can role play and practice all you want, but get in the game. Right, that would be my encouragement to any agent out there, right?
Yeah, I say get in the game, but don't get in the game by yourself.
Yeah. So you've mentioned mentorship and being a lifelong learner and being surrounded by people that are gonna, stretch you. Like, who are those people in your world right now?
So I've got 2 business coaches. I meet with one of them weekly, one of them monthly, and I can't emphasize enough on how valuable that is, right? And from an accountability perspective as well, right? You say something, and you're so busy with, the day-to-day routines, life, business, right? Because it's still busy, right? You're still doing a whole bunch of deals, right? But you want to map out your goals, and you want to have somebody hold you accountable to make those things happen instead of just kind of settling where you're at, right? And so I would say mentorship for me has been the reason that am where I am today. Big time. It's other people taking the time to pour into me, taking the time to, give me, tidbits of what they've obtained over the years of doing it.
Yeah. And it's probably equipped, kind of like a discipleship model almost, where it's probably equipped you to pour into the agents that are on your team.
Yeah, I do the best I can.
Yeah. Right. Cool. So talk us through kind of what you've noticed in the market as of late. Like, have you noticed any changes? I know we just had the NAR settlement. Like, how has it impacted your business? What changes have you made? Have you made any changes? What's that look like?
Yeah, so the market in general right now, I mean, it's slowed down, right? We've got about 15% more inventory on the market than we had this time last year. And I think that's primarily around the election cycle, actually. I don't think it's too much to do with like the NAR settlement or anything like that. Every time we have an election, things slow down. And that's because sellers move to sell because they're worried about what's going to happen after the election, and buyers wait to buy because they're worried about what's going to happen after the election. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of just see that like on a historical scale. It kind of happens every single time before an election. And as far as the NAR settlement goes, I would say it's not necessarily even a bad thing, right? I don't think it is. I think people that look at it as a totally bad thing probably weren't doing it right to begin with. And I know if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, that guy, right? That's not the case, right? It's a terrible thing. Well, you should have had your buyer's agencies signed all the, to begin with, right? And your clients should know how much money you're making, right? And as far as buyer's agents getting paid, I'm still seeing 95% of the time the listings are still offering a buyer's agent commission. So nothing's really changed from that angle. Yeah, got to get those buyer's agencies signed.
Right, and it's in the seller's best interest to offer compensation, because if you think about it, over 40%, the stat was over 40% of buyers, if they were responsible for paying their buyer's agent compensation, then in addition to their down payment and their closing costs, they simply wouldn't be able to. Mm-hmm. So, if that's a conversation with sellers, like, are you okay with eliminating half of the buyer pool that's willing to buy your property?
Yep.
Most of the time, that answer is going to be no, and so you talk through
and even if you do get that buyer, right, that's willing to, cover that buyer's agent's commission, well, you might have just missed out on another buyer that would have driven that offer up $30,000 that wasn't willing to. Right. And so you might find that, gem, right? But it's unlikely, for one. And for two, why alleviate a whole buyer pool that you'd have access to?
Absolutely. So what is your ideal client? I know you are, obviously we're younger, good looking dudes, right? But now we're aging, we're getting wrinkles, right? Because we've got newborns at home. So who is your ideal client? Who are you looking to serve?
Man, so I would say referrals from my sphere, and my sphere in general. We do online marketing. We do that kind of stuff as well. But that's primarily for agents that are on the team and don't have that sphere of influence built yet. I really want to be able to focus on bringing the folks that I know, that I love, the highest amount of value, and really serving them to, the absolute highest ability.
Cool. So what's something that you feel you are kind of uniquely gifted in or skilled in when it comes to serving those clients?
Negotiating.
That kind of sets you apart.
Yeah, I would say negotiating is something that I've taken a ton of time to learn about. Never Split the Difference, right? Yeah, great book. And, how can I bring that to a transaction, right? Well, I'm negotiating the sale of the most expensive thing that you own, and it's an asset. And so you better be able to bring negotiation to the table. Absolutely. If you're managing that entire process.
Absolutely.
And so I focused a ton on learning that, right, when I got into the industry, and continuing to learn it. And the way that you negotiate is going to be different on the market trends, right? The way the market fluctuates. So the way that I'm going to negotiate in spring might be different than the way that I negotiate in fall, right? It definitely will be, because the market changes. And so being able to get them the best deal from that is something that I'm always focused on.
Yeah. So when it comes to negotiating, I know we had touched base a few months ago about you had like so many appraisal issues going on at the same time. I remember us talking about this.
I remember that.
And you got a few of them corrected, I believe.
Yeah, actually, it was only two of them.
I could speak to his expertise on negotiating, right? When it comes to appraisals.
Yeah, that was interesting. I was able to get my clients negotiated and get their appraisal actually to go over the price, but a rental property of mine that I was selling actually appraised $10,000 low, and I had to take the hit. So I can negotiate better for you than for me, apparently.
There you go. Hey, at least it's in the clients.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Cool. Are there any questions that I should have asked that I haven't?
Man, questions that you should have asked that you haven't. I don't know. What did you do, in high school? What made you the man that, for today? I kind of think that's a good question to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know, we've talked about this. This is probably part of the reason why we connect so well, but we both want to be the best husband, best fathers that we can be. And we've talked about mentorship a lot. So maybe talk on, who you look up to, who's had that impact on your life from a leadership perspective, and then kind of the legacy that you want to leave for your family.
Yeah. So from a mentorship perspective, I'd say Jason Buhner, a guy that I go to church with. He leads my house church. Just an incredible guy. He's got 6 kids. 2 of them are adopted. He works full time. And the way that he just balances everything is beautiful, man. It really is. And so being able to walk with him through life has been a blessing.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a guy that sticks out to me immediately. See my father, great man, been an incredible mentor to me my entire life. I got so many guys that come to my mind, right? My father-in-law, Todd. He's a forester. He's a land developer kind of guy. He buys, say, 1,000 acres and subdivides it into different parcels and sells them off bit by bit.
Yeah.
But he's also just an incredible man. And so got a ton of great people around me, really, that are always going to hold me accountable. I'm always going to hold them accountable. And
right.
So it makes just for a blessed life.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Well, shout out to those guys for making you,
no kidding,
helping mold you into the man that you are today. So, what is your favorite part? I know both new fathers here. What's your favorite part about being a dad?
My favorite part about being a dad, man, I would say, just watching them grow up and wanting more already.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I wanted 3. Okay, now I want 4. So,
yeah.
Even if I'm not sleeping, I still want more.
Yeah. I think I told Rachel like 3 months in, I'm like, so we ready to do this thing again or what? It's like, and she's like, hold up.
Yeah, right. Hold on. You didn't just carry the baby for the last 10 months.
Right.
Right.
So, but yeah, I completely agree, man. It's like just watching them discover the world. You almost get to live like vicariously like through them and see the world through like a kid's eyes again. Like just the best thing ever.
It is, man. It is. And it's just so cool watching them, obtain like different skills.
Discover new things.
Like, yeah. It's crazy how quick it happens. And I mean, I want to look back, in 7 years and have that 3 or 4, right?
Yeah.
And a little family.
100%, man. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I believe readers are leaders. We've mentioned a few books that have been impactful on our journey. So what's a book that stands out in your mind that you took a lot away from that have been huge on just your growth in real estate or outside of real estate?
Mm-hmm. So outside of real estate, I would say, you'll get this all the time, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? You'll get that over and over again. And in real estate, anything written by Jordan Cohen is gold. It's absolutely gold. So he went from, selling $150,000 houses, $200,000 houses. He grew up, he was poor. And then now he's the most successful, I would say, agent that I know of. And so he, over the past couple of years, has really taken his techniques and his strategies and put them on paper for us. And to not look at them and study them would be a foolish decision.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, anything else that we should touch on?
I don't know, man. I think I'm good.
All right. Cool. Well, Sam, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Appreciate you, man.
Dude, Jaden, thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you.